Welcome everyone to the Wake Up Call channel. Another day, another music video being featured on YouTube in the YouTube trending section that shows us truth in plain sight. A band called Falling in Reverse, who I've covered in the past, has a song called Prequel. And the reason I'm doing this video isn't just the obvious, right? When we look at a band like this and we look at their logo, most of us who are awake and aware can obviously tell very easily that this is a satanic band. But I do these videos because when these are in the YouTube trending section specifically, and I come across them because I always look in there to see what they're pushing on the youth out there, there's always a chance that somebody young might stumble upon this video because they're a fan of the band and it might help them in their awakening process. Because most times people see these videos and they have no idea how to interpret what they're seeing. They just think it's some type of artistic expression that, oh, he's using a cross, he's using, a battle between good and evil, because, it's original and it's artistic, when that's not the case. They are showing you what is coming, and they're showing you this biblically, but of course from their perspective, which is from Satan's perspective. Of course, they believe in the Bible just as much as Christians do. They just believe the opposite. They believe that they will win on Judgment Day, that Satan's army will win. So let me get into it and show you this. It's a very, for those of you out there who don't know the band, you're still going to want to see this video because there's a lot of stuff and a lot of symbolism in it. So the band, again, Falling in Reverse, you can see their logo. It's a variation of the Baphomet pentagram, the upside down pentagram. The band is called Falling in Reverse. And remember Aleister Crowley's law of reversal, which I've broken down many times. Aleister Crowley wrote in his book about the law of reversal, how Satanists do things opposite. They do things backwards. They back mask, we all know about with music. They read the Bible backwards. There's lots of things in our culture that are inverted because of Aleister Crowley's law of reversal. And we know that the Antichrist and Satan is an inversion of God and Jesus Christ. So Falling in Reverse, trending on YouTube. The video starts, you can look at this guy, he's all grossly covered in tattoos, his body is painted black. He is in front of some type of a demon or deity. And as he's standing in front, he bows down to his knees and he's crowned. And of course, this is symbolic, right? We all know about the crown of thorns, Jesus Christ, the King of Kings. Well, this is an interpretation of the Antichrist and the crown of the Antichrist and the crown of thorns of the Antichrist, which is this black crown. Of course, it resembles that substance that a lot of people are putting inside of their bodies, that graphene oxide-like substance, right? And we've seen this theme with the crown of thorns, this black crown of thorns before. Lady Barfbag, Lady Gaga, uses this same crown in a lot of her photography and music videos as well. And if you listen to the lyrics, you will see that this is about building Satan's army. He says, you're a slave to labor and you praise the fascist, right? Of course, he's talking about Christians, conservatives, Donald Trump, which is part of the deception, which is part of the psyop. And he says, it's time to rise up and stand against them, break the chains, and finally see the vision. We're post-traumatic from a broken system. Follow me into the chaos engine. Of course, order out of chaos, which is exactly what they're creating. And he goes on in this to say, your sacrifice to break the curse. Prepare to die, prepare to burn. Abandon hope. It's not enough. Cause all our gods abandon us. Your sacrifice to break the curse. That's part of the main theme here. Your sacrifice. Again, sacrifice is always a common theme in the occult. They've even normalized it in our culture with a lot of these celebrities when they talk about sacrifices that they've made to become rich and famous and powerful. They want you to think that they stayed up late on a Sunday night studying or practicing singing or something ridiculous. They're literally telling us out in the open that they've committed sacrifice, human sacrifice, because that's the name of the game in Hollywood and the music industry. So what he shows you next after reading those lyrics is Satan's army. He's standing after being crowned, right? He's representing the Antichrist. After being crowned, you could see him standing above a group of people, these soldiers that look like something out of Star Wars, which is more predictive programming. Again, Star Wars has a lot of these biblical themes in it, as well as themes of witchcraft and Satanism that people don't realize, right? So you see this army of goons dressed up in black. And what you're seeing with Satan's army is in the book of Revelation. Revelation chapter 19, verses 19 through 20. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. And the beast was taken, and with him the false prophet that wrought miracles before him, with which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast and them that worshipped his image. These both were cast alive into the lake of fire burning with brimstone. But keep in mind the verse about verse 19. And I saw a beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army, because war is coming. They are attempting to build their own army here, which has everything to do with transhumanism and mixing iron and clay, the manufacturing of human beings' genetic codes, right? This thing they call gene editing. So as this goes on, you'll see in the video, he's walking. Of course, they use the imagery of the cross many times. You could even see a group of people bowing down to an idol, which looks a lot like Baal. But then you see a bunch of people lined up with tags on them. The tags represent those who have taken the mark. That's the way that they're expressing it in this video if you watch. These people have tags on their ears like cattle, like the sheeple, so to speak, and they're being lined up heading into the abyss, right? They're walking off of a cliff into the abyss. They're obviously demonically possessed, as you can see in a lot of their eyes. And they even show you the mark in the hand. You can see the hand with the red dot on it. And that, again, is a reference to the mark of the beast in Revelation chapter 13, verses 16 through 18. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. And as that occurs, you start to see this man who was crowned with the crown of thorns, right, which we can interpret as the Antichrist, performing miracles as he's building his army, performing miracles in the book, in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 9. Even him whose coming is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders, right? We know that miracles will be performed, and you can see the Antichrist performing miracles. And then, of course, as they always do, because remember, everything that the Satanists do is an inversion of God. So we see the Antichrist being crucified. We see, yes, it's mockery, but it's also symbolism to it, right? So we see the Antichrist on the cross, and of course, out of his eyes come fire. Out of his eyes come fire and destruction. And then he takes the fire that's in his eyes and he points it up to the heavens. This is important. This is important to know what they're showing you here, because in the Bible, we know that fire comes down from God out of heaven. And in this interpretation, they're showing Satan's army and the Antichrist waging war against God. So we see the fire, instead of coming down from heaven, going up towards heaven. And again, in Revelation chapter 20, verse 7 through 9. And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison, and shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth, Gog and Magog, to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. As they went up on the breadth of the earth, and compassed the camp of the saints about, and the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. Fire came down from God, even mentioned again in Revelation chapter 13, verses 12 through 13. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causes the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. And then you see the angels coming down from heaven for battle, as the chorus of the music of the songs, the lyric says, "Oh, heaven falls, the angels die. Let it burn from the start when everything falls apart." So it's referencing the angels coming down and the angels dying and losing. And then you could see as the Antichrist is in between Satan's army and, of course, God's army that is coming down. And I remind you, again, this is what it's all about. It's about Revelation chapter 19. And I saw the beast and the kings of the earth and their armies gathered together to make war against him that sat on the horse and against his army. So that's what this video is showing you. And we see this pattern all the time. We see a pattern where these musicians are constantly showing us themes of the Bible. They're showing us it, but in an inverted way, right? Because we can all look at it as Christians and we say, who would ever choose, if Satanists know the Bible, right? Like Christians know the Bible, when we read the Bible, we go, oh man, I'm so glad I'm on the winning team. I'm so glad I chose salvation through Jesus Christ, who died for my salvation. I'm so glad. Who would be dumb enough to ever choose the other side? Well, drum roll, Satanists, because they actually believe with the fallen angel technology that they have, with Lucifer in their ear, that they will be able to build an army to defeat God on Judgment Day. And that's what we're seeing going on right now. That's what we're seeing going on with humanity. That's what we're seeing going on with human beings' genetic code being altered and the things that are coming forward with technology and transforming human beings, because that's what that black substance on that crown in the beginning of the video represents. The black goo represents the transformation. That's what it represents. The transformation of human beings no longer being human. Because once a human being's genetic code is altered, they are no longer of God, because they've changed who they are. Remember, God made all of us in his image, and all of us have our own unique, specific genetic code. My DNA is different than your DNA, which is different than your neighbor's DNA, which is different than the guy across the street's DNA, which is different than the next person down the road's DNA, right? We all have unique DNA. Everybody out there should know that at this point in the world, right? These people that go out there and try to figure out who they're related to, or all these crime shows that show us how they solve crimes via DNA. They say, well, it's 100% match. It's his DNA. So we all clearly know that if it's 100% match with someone's DNA, that nobody else in the world has that DNA. That is what God made us all as, unique individuals. They're changing that as part of the hive mind that we see going on around us. And it's more than just the hive mind mindset. It's more than just the mindset of, well, all these people think in a hive mind. They all think the same and act the same. They're literally all going to be made the same, because that unique genetic code that they have is being altered, because people are allowing the wicked access to their genetics and the access to gene editing. So that's what the black goo represents. That's what the black crown represents. And this video, which again, you can look at the band and you can just look at them and know that they're satanic. It's very easy, right, to see, but there's actually people out there that watch this stuff and they actually have no idea. They're like, oh, it's unique. Oh, I could relate to these people because I like to dress and wear Gothic clothes. They think that these people are actually rebellious, when in fact they're not. Satan's army is not a bunch of rebels. Satan's army is a bunch of losers, because they lose in the end. If we were going to define the word loser, it would be being a member of Satan's army, because we know how this ends. Now, they're so narcissistic, which really sums up the state of the world these days, that they believe that they can defeat God and his army on Judgment Day. And that is what this music video is showing you, including showing you all of these people who take the mark, who are just walking off of a cliff into the abyss, obliviously taking the mark of the beast. So another day, another music video. That's what I try to do on this channel, is show you this stuff is happening every day around us. I don't have to look far to find content. It's usually promoted in the trending section. It's trending on Twitter, somewhere. And everybody out there they're like, oh, it's trending on there. It's trending because it's forced trending. None of this stuff is organically trending. They make it trend. This band is not trending organically. 9 out of 10 people, maybe 10 out of 10 people in society have never heard of this band. So why is the video trending? Well, they're making it trend. They want you to see it. And almost every day, there is a trailer for a movie or a new music video that has something to do with end times prophecy or the Bible in general. How many of these videos have you seen where we see Satan lap dancing people? We see little Nas X mocking the flood and Noah's Ark. right? We see Lady Gaga do it, Miley Virus do it, all of them. Every single week there's new stuff. There's even something else trending right now called GOAT. These are all things that they deliberately push out. It is in front of us if you're paying attention. The signs of the times are around us. It just matters if people can actually interpret what they're seeing, and most people can't because they watch these things in a sleep state. They're in a delta brainwave, and they don't even realize they're under hypnotism when they see this stuff. If they actually pull out and start paying attention by watching these things consciously and critically thinking, you'll see how real the Bible is, how true God's word is, and how the devil is around us at every turn. As the Bible tells us in 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may devour. I thank everybody for being here. I hope you're all doing well. God bless you as always and your families.